welcome to Norway. It was minus 20 Celsius this morning, and the big question now is if the microphone is still working. I like it out here. I like it out in the woods, even when it's cold. And maybe that's kind of a trademark of being part of an indigenous group to your country. You're sort of adapted, or you belong to the land, and that's what I wanted to talk about here in this video. And I wanted to show you a map of Europe showing the different indigenous groups and the different ethnic groups that have inhabited Europe since many thousands of years ago. But it appears that finding such a map is a little bit difficult. When I searched for indigenous ethnic groups in Europe, I could only find minority groups. So, for instance, in Scandinavia, that would be the Sami. But the Sami is not the only indigenous group in Norway. You have the Norse. I'm Norse, and I made some notes so that I don't forget. Let's see here. The Sami was not here first. This is the Y-DNA haplogroup map of Europe. So it shows that clearly we do have ethnic groups in Norway. In Europe. In Norway and in Europe. So it's listed here: Celtic, Basque, Frisian, Saxon, Slavic, and so on and so on. But they are not mentioned as indigenous peoples, even though, like in Norway, let's see if I can remember now, the first people who came here, that's about 8,000 BC, let's see if I remember correctly. The Kullberg man in Denmark, and that's dated 8,000 BC. And the Sami has been up in the north 5,000 years. For 5,000 years. Now it's becoming difficult even to speak. Now, I love the Sami culture. It's deeply fascinating. But it is plain wrong to claim that it's the only indigenous group in Norway, or that I think there are some other that are recognized as well. But the Norse, my ethnic group, is not recognized. That's wrong. And it's the same in other countries. Why is it that the ethnic groups that have been in a country since the dawn of time are normally not recognized as an even ethnic group of that country? If you go down that road, or even if you just do an internet search on this, it gets dark very soon. I just wanted for this video to show you all the different ethnic groups in Europe, and the indigenous groups in Europe. And my message would be, and it still is, that we should take pride in who we are. We should celebrate who we are. That's true diversity. If we have strong roots, we feel safer, and we get along with people from other groups more easily, I would say. And that's not controversial to say, I hope. But it appears that there is an agenda somewhere. And you know, I have to be careful talking about this. But it seems like all ethnic groups are counted as indigenous in some area, except what would normally be considered, I don't like these terms, but white. Now that term is actually a little bit inaccurate, because what does it mean? It's like saying black. What does that mean? We belong to some or several ethnic groups, like where I live here in southeastern Norway. It's normal that you have most of your DNA is Scandinavian, and also there is a lot of DNA from the British Islands, which is, you know, when you think about the trade routes and things like that going back hundreds of years, it makes sense. But, you know, why is it that you can't find a map showing the ethnic groups and the indigenous groups in Europe anymore? Why is it that only the minority groups are showing on those maps? If you look at Scandinavia and Norway, you have the Sami up north, and in south it just says Norwegian. But Norwegian is not an ethnic group, that's a nationality. And these things matter. And I think, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I think that someone has politicized this. Someone has an agenda here. And before I forget, remember to leave a comment and consider subscribing to this channel. I think we all understand that a message like this one is not going to be popular in the Google system. That seems to be how it works. So please help this channel and help to spread this message. And I do different kinds of content here. Viking content, bushcraft, nature, and also commentary like this video here. So consider subscribing to this channel. Thank you. I have several YouTube channels actually. This is not my only YouTube channel. So I would encourage you to go down to the video description, where I have links to my other YouTube channels and also my Patreon. And also, especially for people in Norway now, please consider going out helping the animals now. Especially the roe deer are struggling now because of all the snow. Feed the birds, help them through these cold days with all this snow. I was out with some hay for the roe deers yesterday, and that could help them through the night. You know, it feels like someone's trying to erase Europe, what Europe really is, the diversity in Europe, the cultures, the beauty of Europe. Now, I've traveled extensively in Europe, and I will, well, I'm biased of course, but I will say that maybe Europe is the most culturally diverse region that I've ever visited. And it is quite a small area, if you consider the whole, if you compare it to Africa, for instance. But it seems like we're supposed to be this uniform, grey lump of people, and it is horrible to me what's happening. It's really horrible. And I must say this. I do think this is part of a globalist agenda. And no, that's not a conspiracy theory to say that. I mean, I would say that if you can't see that, you're being very naive. And then the big question is why? Why is that part of a globalist agenda? It's sorry, I can hardly talk now in the cold. Well, if you take people's identity away, they are very easy to control. If you cut the roots to a tree, it will fall over in the first storm. So we must keep our roots, and we must keep our roots strong. And we do that by celebrating who we are. As, I'm talking to all the Celts out there, all the Norse out there, all the Sami out there, all the Slavic people out there, all the and many other ethnic groups that I can't remember right now here out there in the cold. Even my hands are getting cold now, actually, and that's not something that happens very often. I will be back with more Viking videos very soon, but right now, since I don't have Viking skis yet, I couldn't, you know, the snow is too deep, so yeah, but I will be back very soon as possible with those videos. Okay, thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe and stay strong.